Hello, my YouTubers and Facebook fans. Welcome to Let's Chat. And you're here for my 2 cents, and I'm going to give it to you today. Today is a special day for me because guess what? It's my birthday. So I just been enjoying myself, doing me today. Just enjoying my born day. It's been great. June 7th is a fantastic day. But anyway, we're here to talk about money. And did you make your budget from last week? I hope you did. Remember last week we talked about making a budget, about your necessities and your wants. Now remember, I said this broadcast is about people that live check to check, barely making it. If you don't live like that, this talk is not for you right now. So what we want to talk about is changing your way of thinking about money. For example, you know how when tax time come, everybody think they could just go out and go to the mall because you have some extra money. Do you really? Nobody have any extra money. When is money extra? If you do have extra money, give it to me. Seriously, no one have extra money. You can always do something with money. Save it, put it in a bank account for a rainy day, or buy something you need. There's several things you could do with your money. So let's make that straight. It is no extra money. And that's what I want to talk to you about, changing your way of thinking about money. Especially when you live in check to check. You have to make every cent count. First tip I'm going to give you, if you have bills, more bills than probably what you bring in, or you just have those high credit card bills, the first thing you want to do, if you have credit card bills with $30 here, $40 here, just go and pay them off. Don't worry about the minimum payment. If you could just pay it off just to get rid of it, pay it, cut up that credit card and leave it. You should only really have 2 credit cards. I work with 2 credit cards. I really don't deal with cash, period. Some people like cash, some people like credit cards. I like credit cards because I could get points. So when I travel, I could use my points. I could use points for just putting money back to my credit card, paying off debt. Or sometimes a Bank of America have a card that if you earn money while you spend. And it's going to be stuff you spend anyway. Well, this is how I do it. Stuff you spend anyway. You go into the grocery store, why pay cash? Get the points off it. And your points you could turn either into money to pay, like I said, pay yourself back or put in your bank account. I meant to say, Bank of America, if you put it in your bank account and you bank with Bank of America, they give you like an extra 10% bonus on that money. So, it may sound like 10% is not much to you, but for me, I count for every penny. That's just the way I do things. And believe me, that adds up. So, like I said, if you want to do straight cash and no credit, that's you. I do credit cards on everything. I don't care if I buy a candy bar. It's going towards my credit card and, my points. But you only want to work that way if you can pay your credit card off. So if you have credit card debt and you done went bazooka on the credit card debt, work on paying your credit card off and use cash rather than credit card at this time, because right now you can't let the credit card get over your head, because when you just pay the minimum balance, really you're not doing anything, because the minimum balance, they charge an interest. That's why they want you to charge on those credit cards, because when you pay the minimum balance, say your amount is $25. They're going to tack on about $10 interest. So you pay $25, but then you got an extra 10 on top of that. That's free money. That's free money that you're giving away. So why not pay it all? So like I say, when you have those little pick a nanny credit cards, $30 here, $40 here, just go and pay that off. Pay that off as soon as possible. Rip off that credit card. Don't use it again. You want to get down to 2. Another thing you could do now, in this day and age, they don't have many credit cards that you could consolidate and transfer other balances onto one credit card. That's the best way to do it, because many of those cards, when you first get those cards, they have an introduction that so many months, maybe 12 or 24, no interest. So that really means that's like going to a bank and consolidating all your debt free without even being charged for the loan. Back in the day, they had a lot of these credit cards, but right now, the way the economy is, you have to have good credit, and a lot of banks don't even offer that. But they are out there. So you have to Google and look, and if they have it, like I say, that's your best bet. If you could qualify for a credit card that you could put all your balances on, and most of the time they let you do it without charge. And if they charge, they may say 3% of the balance that you're putting on. But that's still better than just having 15 credit cards, because you're putting it all at one time. And like I say, during this period, you want to only use cash. You don't want to use extra credit cards, because you want to get down to a zero balance. Get the credit card. If you can't pay it all off, go to the credit card that you have the most interest. Like some is 18.5, some is 23.5. Knock out the one with the highest interest. Those the ones you want to aim for first. Knock out those credit cards. Each week, try to just pay that balance off. If the balance is too high, just pay something on it, more than a minimum if you can. If you can't, remember last week we talked about getting passive income, making it any kind of way, drive Uber, something to get some extra money in, because this is the time you want to really get not debt free, because you're always going to have debt, but you'll be bill free. So that's a tip for you. Another tip is, this goes back to our budgeting. What is really necessary? If you're living from check to check, is it necessary for you, this is for women, to get their hair done every 2 weeks? For men, is it necessary to, I don't know, play golf, or I don't know, what do men do that they really waste money for? Go into a restaurant. Okay, men have a habit of going to a restaurant, they want to drink a beer. Okay, well, one beer in a restaurant may cost, say, anywhere from $8 to $10. You could go to the store and buy a whole 6-pack for that much. So you got to think kind of smarter. Okay, sometime I know you want to hang out with your friends. Drink before you leave. Drink before you leave, and just to be sociable, maybe get one drink just to let it pretty much just sit in front of you, and it's not exactly being cheap, it's being real. If you don't have any money, you don't have any money. And why pay when you go to restaurants? That's where they make their money, at alcohol, drinks. Before I go out, I make my own drinks, because I just know how to do it. But I make my own drinks. So basically, when I go out to socialize, I nurse one drink all night, because you don't need it. Paying just extra money, just going out the door. Going back to women, do you need to get your hair done every 2 weeks? Why not Google and look and see how to do your own hair and learn about yourself to know how to do it. Now, sometimes I know we want to splurge and go out and get things done, and that's fine if you have extra money. Remember, I said this is for people living check to check, and if you live check to check, um, you just either you want the pampering and you want the extras, or you want to be bill free. So you got a choice. You know, most the main thing about money is priorities. What do you prioritize in your life? I tell everyone you could do anything you want to do if you prioritize your money. If you make 30,000 a year, you could live off 30,000 a year. You could go travel, you could do whatever you want to. But it's how you spend your money. Me, I love travel. I love to go. I like to do the things that I want to do. And in turn, no, I don't go spend $100, and that's where including the tip. Definitely tip your hairdressers and everything because they out there making money. I know you broke, but if you too broke to tip, you probably don't need to be there. So back to what I was saying, I don't go get my hair and nails done maybe every week. I go at the beginning of the summer, the wintertime, I pretty much don't go at all. You could buy that stuff go to JC Penney's, buy a $30 foot tub, go to Bed Bath & Beyond, pay $8 for foot soak, go to CVS, get a pedicure kit, and do it yourself. You're going to save a lot of money doing that. You'd be surprised how much that add up. Things like that. That's what I'm saying when you do your budget and you have your needs and your wants. You need shelter, food, and utilities, and car, gas. You don't need all this other stuff. You don't need cable. You don't need the most expensive telephone. Some things you just don't need. And getting back to telephone, this is another tip for you. When the last time that you checked around to see when you could get a better service? True story. I had T-Mobile. I've been with T-Mobile for years. Let's just put it like that, years. And I forgot how much I was paying, but I called them one day and I was really just joking with the lady. I said, I've been with T-Mobile all of this time, and I think I should get a discount. So she said, well, we don't, we can look at the plans that we offer. She couldn't find really nothing. So I said, well, somebody my age should definitely, we on a limited income. She didn't even ask how old I was. She said, well, are you a senior? I said, yeah, I'm a senior. Okay, T-Mobile has a plan, $30 a month for seniors, unlimited talk, web access, hotspot, whatever you call it, unlimited everything, $30 a month. You have some people out there, I have a phone, but I don't have any Wi-Fi, or I didn't did all my texts, I don't accept texts. Look for different plans. It's just like when you get insurance. Don't stick with the same person or the same plan. Look around. You'll be surprised how much things change. And when you talk to people, when you talk to the clerk, ask them, say, look, I'm in a tight budget here, especially with the pandemic. I'm in a tight budget here. I really can't afford it, but I've been with you such and such amount of years. What can you do to help me out? Most of the time, they will help you out some kind of way. And I mentioned last week, if you can't pay your bills, like I say, I know it's been layoffs and everything around here. If you can't pay your bills, call the person that you in debt to and tell them, look, you're going to get your money, but I can't afford to pay but $15. Or I can't afford to pay but half, and maybe at the end of the month, I could pay you the other half. You'll be surprised how much they still gonna try to squeeze the money out of you. But if you don't send them nothing, they're gonna report you to collections, and your credit gonna go down, and you're gonna get in a bigger swamp. So when you tell them and just send it, I don't care if they say they don't, they're not gonna work with you. Just send it. Send $50. Believe it, I have done it. And I have never got anything cut off. Not anything. As long as you send them something, they know that your intentions are there. And remember, they got to pay a billing agency money to hassle you to pay your bill. So if they see that you acting in good faith and could pay something, more than likely they're gonna hold off on that. Now, that's not absolute, but all I can say, I never got anything cut off, and it has been tough times. So take that for what you know. And insurance. Let's talk about insurance. And this is just, like I say, changing the way you think about money and some things that you probably could cut out your life. Let's take car insurance, for example. Car insurance is one of the biggest ripoffs, but sometimes you need it, and especially you need it if your car is not paid off. If your car's not paid off, of course, you have to have full coverage. I think in many states that's the law, so it's no skating around that. My birthday, so happy birthday to me. Anyway, it's no skating around that. But what if your car paid off? What if you're driving around with that 2002 car or 2005 car? The car been paid off. Why do you have full coverage on your car? You don't need anything but liability. Paying full coverage, you may say, well, that way I will have a rental car. I'll be able to pay my medical bills because the car, full coverage has pretty much everything. But think about this. First of all, say a 2005, that's about a 15-year-old car. If you wreck that car, the insurance company is not going to give you a replacement. What they're going to do is look and see what that 2005 car is worth. And the way cars depreciate, say it's worth $2,000. Or they may fix it if it's less than $2,000, but they're only gonna fix it up to the amount that it's worth. So if you got an old car that's been paid off, they're not going to give you but that $2,000, and you're probably paying about $1,200 a year in insurance. It's a waste. Keep that money. Just pay liability. You could cut that bill in about, I guess you could shave probably, I don't know. I think with liability, you may pay $300 a year compared to full coverage, paying according to how your driving record is. But sometimes it could be over $2,000 or even $1,500. We talking about $200 or $1,500. So take that for what you know. And if you need a rental car, or if hopefully you got a job that your doctor bill is going to be paid with your job. Most of the time that's what happens anyway. If you don't have a job, then sometime you may think about it. Think about what you need to do, or what can you do? If you have insurance at your job, you don't need a car insurance if you wreck it. Even if you rent a car, they ask you, do you want to take out insurance? No, you don't want to take out insurance. Your coverage has cover you for rental cars. And did you know you could call if you don't have it? Say you have liability only and you traveling to New Mexico and gonna rent a car. Call your insurance company and say, I want full coverage. That way you're covered. Usually it don't take but 24 hours that you're covered, full coverage. Take your trip, rent that car. When you come back, cancel it. It's no problem. Nobody says you can't do that. So do it. They're not going to tell you. And did you also know that if you keep your car in a garage and you may take it out to drive it maybe 3 times a month, there is a different premium that you pay, whether you have liability or full coverage. There's a different premium that you would pay rather than what you normally pay. And sometimes that premium is cut maybe 75%. It's a big difference. It's worth checking into to call your insurance company and say, I don't drive my car. Now, really, this is for people that really don't hardly drive your car because you don't, the more you take that car out there, the more chances that you may be in an accident. So if you really do not drive your car, but maybe 3 times a month or 4 times, just say you really don't drive. You take transit or, you may take it out for a spin just to keep the motor running. Call your insurance company and ask about that because there's a different rate for people like that. That's why mostly all insurance companies should be giving you a refund right now with this pandemic because we was really ordered to, unless you're essential personnel, we were really ordered to stay in the house. So most everyone didn't drive. So they already know that. So rather than 1,000 of people who know that the rate is cheaper, some insurance company is just up and just giving you a refund. Don't think they're doing it because the pandemic and they want to be nice to you. They don't want you flooding their phone lines with, hey, I didn't even drive this month. So they offering refunds. So think about that. This is a true story with insurance, how insurance is such a ripoff. My son called me and asked, should I get pet insurance because he just went through something with his pet that he had to pay $700 for operation. So, the bill was really going to be more than $700, but that's another whole story. Remember, I said call them and talk to them and just tell them, hey, it's a pandemic. So the bill got lowered to $700. But he checked pet insurance. Pet insurance was $68 a month. $68 a month. He said, that's expensive, but, my dog is getting old and, he probably going to need some pet insurance. I told him, I said, if you feel like getting it, you can. But just think about it. How long have you had the dog and how many operations did he have so far? So he said, this was the first one. So I said, with $68 a month, how much is that per year? He added it up. And am I going to add it up? No, but you could add it up because I've been drinking. So he thought about it. He said, that's a lot of money. I said, yeah. And you only paid $700 out of having your dog probably about 10 years. So I said, if you think you need that insurance, this is what you do. Go open a separate bank account. Put that $68 into that bank account every month. That way, when you take him to the doctor, you have money at that bank account. That's his account. If you don't use it, if he stay healthy, you just have to get his shots and everything, then look how much money you didn't save. Because that's what the insurance companies do. Everybody pays into them. And then how many people use it? How many people get in accidents? When the last time you got in an accident? So if I have 30 people paying $2,000 or $3,000 a year in insurance, and only 2 people pull out the pot. I mean, who's making the money here? So think about that. It's the way you think about money. You have to, like they say, you got to think smarter. Do you really need it? Do you really need it? So that's my money talk for today. I could talk forever, but next coming up, I'm spotlighting in this movement of George Floyd, and I wanted to dedicate this video today to Breonna Taylor in Houston, Texas. The movement is called Say Her Name because even with all the protests and everything going on today, they still have not arrested the cops that stormed into her home unannounced in plain clothes and shot her 8 times. They shot her. And it's so heart-wrenching because the person they was after, she was a essential worker. She was a medic, so an honest paying taxpayer. The person they was after was her ex-boyfriend that she had broke up with long time ago. In fact, the police, the detectives did not do their due diligence because come to find out the person they had the warrant for was already in jail. And they break it in her house to a no-knock warrant. So a judge have to be involved with that too. That's probably what's the hold up with why they haven't went down the line, putting all of their feet to the fire, because a judge definitely has to okay a no-knock warrant. So they didn't do their due diligence. They had the person they wanted locked up all the time, but they came busting in her house. Well, she had another guy at her house, and somebody come busting in your house. He went and grabbed his gun. Now he had a permit for this gun, so it's perfectly legal. He fired back, and like I say, she took the brunt of it. She took 8 bullets and died. And do you know what's funny? Well, it ain't funny, but the irony of it, they took him to jail. Of course, they had to let him out, but come on now. So, we all talking about George Floyd, which he should be talked about, Ahmaud Arbery, which he should be talked about. But we have women out here. We have Sandra Bland. We have Breonna Taylor. There's a lot more. The other day, I looked up exactly how many people has been killed by law enforcement officers with no weapon and everything. It was, I guess, between 2015 to present, it had to be about 20 people. 20 people is just too much. So that's why I wanted to dedicate this to the Say Her Name movement, and hopefully we could get some change in the laws. I want to see change in the laws. I want to see change in people, just to let them recognize what people of color is going through. Blacks, but not only blacks. I have some video that I interviewed people during the protest. I mean, you have Bosnians, you have people coming from other countries. It's just prejudice, racial prejudice. So we want to end some of that. So like I said, it's giving her name today, Breonna Taylor. We want to keep the fire under the feet of the people that makes these decisions. And that's what I'm gonna conclude with. Now, next Sunday, we're gonna go talk further into ways that you could make passive income. There's several ways. I like the stock market, but there's other ways. If you don't have money to invest, you have to be very careful about the stock market too. So if you don't have that money to invest, there's other ways that you could save on the slide and get some extra passive income coming in. So that's what we'll talk about next Sunday at 6. And later on, I'm going to do an interview by showing another Black entrepreneur that you may be interested in. If you do, check me out. In the meantime, have a good week, YouTube and my Facebook friends.